Listen, not to my words, to yourself. Can you hear it? For the first time in a long time, silence. The inner trembling has stopped. The fever that burned you from the inside for years, like an invisible fire, has finally broken. If you can hear and understand these words, it means you have passed through the longest night of your soul and have seen the dawn. You survived. And now, everything will be different. What you went through was not a series of failures, mistakes, or bad karma. It was an illness, a profound spiritual fever. Allow yourself to remember this state in full detail, but as an observer now, not a participant. Remember the world losing its color and clarity, as if you were looking at it through a dusty, cloudy pane of glass. The constant dull ache in your soul, an inexplicable background sorrow that didn't depend on external events. You could be at a loud party, surrounded by laughing people, yet feel trapped in a soundproof capsule of infinite loneliness. You could achieve goals that society calls success, but at the peak of that mountain, you felt nothing but the icy wind of desolation. Remember the grueling exhaustion of having to wear a mask. The mask of a normal, successful, strong person, while inside, everything was crumbling to dust. This performance demanded a colossal amount of energy that you no longer had. Your organism, your soul, your entire essence entered a state of emergency healing, the only way it knew how. When a virus enters the body, it raises its temperature to create an unbearable environment for the foreign elements. Your soul did the same. It raised its internal heat to the limit to burn away everything that was not you. All the false beliefs you absorbed with your mother's milk. All the roles imposed by society that you played so diligently you forgot your own face. All the toxic attachments you mistook for love. All the fears you considered an inseparable part of your personality. All of this was the virus, which had grown so vast it became almost indistinguishable from its host. And you thought you were going crazy. You were in a prolonged, agonizing delirium. In this state, the past and future blended into a single poisonous cocktail. Old wounds, long gone hurts, ached as if they were freshly inflicted, while a hazy, anxious fear of the future paralyzed any attempt to take a step. You scrambled for a cure, trying to bring the fever down. A new self-help book, another seminar, changing partners, moving to another city, exotic spiritual practices. Each of these remedies provided only temporary relief, like a fever reducer that doesn't treat the cause of the illness. And when the fever returned with renewed force, it was joined by a bitter sense of guilt. I've failed again. I must be broken. You are not broken. You are healing. This whole process was like a forest fire. From the outside, it's a terrifying, destructive spectacle. But for the forest itself, it is a vital mechanism of purification. Fire destroys the old deadwood, diseased trees, and parasites, clearing the soil and giving access to sunlight for new, healthy shoots. You were being burned to the ground so that something real could sprout from the ashes of your old personality. And at some point, when the strength to fight was completely gone, you did the only thing left to do. You surrendered. You let go. And this was not a capitulation, but an act of supreme trust. You allowed the fire to do its work, and it was at that moment the crisis reached its peak. And after it, morning came. The fever broke. The delirium ended. You are lying now in this silence, exhausted, depleted, but crystal clear. And for the first time in years, your gaze is clear. The worst is over, not because the problems were solved, but because the illness that created those problems is gone. After a great storm, a deafening, almost ringing silence follows. You walk out onto the shore of your life and see the wreckage. Everything you built for so long and with such effort, believing you were building a fortress, turned out to be a house of cards. Relationships that seemed unshakable. A career to which you had given your best years. The image of yourself, strong, smart, righteous, that you so carefully maintained, all washed away by the cleansing wave. And the first reaction is horror, panic, emptiness. Stay in this silence. Don't try to fill it. Don't rush to build something new on the wet sand. Just be. Feel it. This emptiness is not dead. It is alive. It is not a vacuum, but a clean, fertile space. The storm not only destroyed your constructions, it washed away all the garbage that had accumulated on the shore for decades. Sharp shards of others' opinions, rotting fragments of old resentments, sticky seaweed of guilt, plastic bottles of superficial desires. The air is pure. The earth is saturated with moisture. It is ready. It is waiting. The fear of silence is completely normal. You lived for so long amidst the roar of waves and the howl of wind that silence seems like an anomaly, a harbinger of something even more terrible. Your mind, accustomed to being a general in a perpetual war, frantically searches for a new enemy. It will present you with old fears, like yellowed battle maps. It will make you replay past mistakes over and over, analyzing who was right and who was wrong. It will create hypothetical future disasters just to feel needed, to have something to control. Do not engage in its games. Simply observe its panic with compassion, as you would an old soldier who doesn't know what to do in peacetime. And breathe. Inhale this new, pure, quiet air. It is in this silence that you will begin to notice what was invisible and inaudible in the noise of the storm. These won't necessarily be some mystical signs. They will be simple, earthly things. The taste of your morning coffee, which will suddenly seem incredibly rich. The warmth of a sunbeam on your skin. The unexpected kindness in the eyes of a stranger at the checkout. Music that sends shivers down your spine. This is life, natural as it is. It was always trying to speak to you in this simple language of sensations, but its whisper was drowned out by the roar of your inner war. Now you can hear it. These are the first tender shoots on the cleared land. Don't rush them. Don't try to explain them logically. Trying to understand them with your mind is like trying to measure the scent of a flower with a ruler. Just notice. Just give them an inner yes. Water them with your quiet, calm attention. If these words resonate in your soul, subscribe. It's like telling the universe, I am ready to listen. We also have a Telegram channel where we learn to speak the language of silence. When a person has been ill for a long time, they don't just jump up and run a marathon. They learn to walk again. First, to sit up in bed, feeling a little dizzy. Then, to lower their feet to the floor, feeling its cool firmness. To take the first unsteady step, holding onto a wall. Your soul is in the same state right now. It is weak, but it is perfectly healthy. And it needs to learn anew how to live in this world, how to trust it. Your old muscles, the muscles of struggle, control, analysis, and constant tension, are overstrained and depleted. And this is wonderful. Now you must develop and strengthen others, the muscles of trust, feeling, acceptance, and relaxation. Before, you lived from your head. Your mind was a commander who 24/7 developed survival strategies, assessed risks, criticized, and pushed. Now, your center of command is shifting lower to the region of the heart, the solar plexus, to the body. The body does not lie. It doesn't know how to create illusions or live in the future. It always exists in the absolute truth of the now. Your task is to learn to listen to it like your most faithful friend. Not just to eat when you're hungry, but to pause and feel what kind of food your body needs right now. Something warm, or something light, or something sweet. Not just to agree to a meeting, but to feel how your body reacts to the thought of that person. Does it contract or expand? This inner bodily response is your new, infallible compass. It is far more accurate than any list of pros and cons compiled by the mind. It's like recovering sensation after a long anesthesia. You are, as it were, learning anew to see the world's true colors, not their dull copies. To hear the music of the silence between sounds. To taste the flavors. Along with this comes forgiveness, not as a moral feat, but as a practical necessity. You realize you can no longer afford to carry the heavy stones of resentment. Your recovering soul simply doesn't have the strength for it. You forgive others because you understand they were also in their own fever. And most importantly, you forgive yourself for not knowing any better, for fighting your own healing for so long. Do not expect heroic deeds from yourself. Do not set big goals. The old goals belong to the old you. Now is the time for small, quiet steps. Time to be gentle and patient with yourself, as with a recovering child. Your one and only main task for the time being is not to become someone new, but to allow yourself to be who you truly are, underneath all the layers of pain and fear. This is not a process of becoming. It is a process of unbecoming. You are returning to yourself. If you feel that this process of awakening has begun, write in the comments, "The fog has lifted." Let this be your quiet acknowledgement of a new clarity. Nobody